Hi, Tony Bradshaw with AddSomeToYourIncome.com here to go over how to make $100,000 in passive income each year. I'm first going to define passive income, make sure we have a working understanding of what we say when we say passive income. I will then go into ways to invest and different things to invest in and what you can do to start bringing in all that passive income with some evidence and stories, especially at the end, of someone that I know is making 100,000 a year in passive income. It is possible. So I look forward to getting to that story at the end. Let's dive in. So how to make 100,000. This is giving me subtitles a try. And my only option is turn on. That's a weird thing there. Interesting. Oh, it's going to listen and put subtitles. I don't remember saying weird. I did say weird. Wow. How do I discontinue this now? Just hit this button maybe? Huh. Playing around with the new things that PowerPoint's wanting to do for me. All right, here we go. So, passive income. As you know, I speak about the three incomes. If you don't, I'm glad to tell you about them. Labor income, passive income, and gift income. Labor income is where you work today and you get paid right away. Passive income is you work today and you don't get paid until harvest, followed by gift income. Someone else worked yesterday. The focus today is passive income. So let's define passive in the income part. Income's obvious, right? Income's the money. Passive, though, isn't quite as obvious. And I'm going to stick to my example of farming. You prepare the soil, you put in the seeds, you water, you weed, you make sure and thin out and make the choices to make sure you have the plants growing that you want growing, the way you want them to grow. And you water and you weed and you thin and you do this over and over and over for months. And then comes harvest. Harvest is a key time as well when you bring in the goods and you get them to market so that they can sell. Then you make that money, and in a way you get to call it passive. And yet there was all this work that you did before. It is obvious to me and most people who work with passive income that you maintain it. And I'm going to give a couple of examples where you maintain in order to keep that money flowing in. You think of it as passive, and yet there's still work that's going to be happening along the way, each year, each month. It's things that you do each week that brings this in to really get to the point where you're making 100,000 a year. Unless, of course, you have $1 million to invest and you get your 10% return and you're just set to go. And I might have just done math wrong right there. But you know what I mean. If you have a large enough chunk of change that you're investing and you're able to see from dividends and royalties off of the top, all right, great. Then you're not even watching this video. All right. People who are here are ones that are going to build up to it. Here, with passive income, I just wanted to kind of pull all of the ideas and thoughts that I've collected together, and that's this next slide. You can put your passive income in real estate, finding it from dividends, that's investing, from books that you write, that you own or you co-write, or you are the one that you receive royalties from the books, artwork that you create, songs that you create, your creations. I was talking with someone the other day and he makes these little figures out of cans, like cans from the kitchen, different size cans, makes these little figureheads. They sell them at the farmer's market, right? He's making some money. Is that going to make $100,000 passive income? No, but what I'm saying is it's your creations, it's what you do, it's your business. I'm going to focus in on the real estate, the writing of books, and dividends, the first three there. So first, investing and the dividends that can come from that. investing in the market, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. The first thing we're going to look at is the huge impact to start early. With this, I want us to take a grain of salt. I got this from the website's leaving my brain right now, US News, I believe, where it shows, and I'm going to zoom in here, it shows the impact of when you start investing. The first person is Jack. He starts at 25. I personally realize that most people that are 25 are going to have a tough time finding $200 a month. Not impossible, and I want you to be there. I just want to be realistic. I think it's more about 30 years old, which is going to be fine because this chart kind of ends at 65, and most individuals who are investing can still do so after 65. The point of this chart is to show how when you compound the interest of your investing, it grows faster. I mean, you can see that by the numbers here. So if you're putting in $200 a month, starting at 25, by the time you're 65, you have over $500,000 that's there ready for you as your nest egg. Starting at 35, same amount for Jill, 72,000 is how much she ends up putting in, which is less than Jack, but then at the end of the day, she only has about $250,000. And Joey, who waits until 45, just 20 years later, puts in the same amount each month, and he ends up with just about 100,000 in the investing. So there is a huge impact in starting to invest early to start to see your investments grow big enough, because you see those returns, and when you reinvest them, it makes a difference. Again, I recommend by 30 that you are investing, and about 200 a month is pretty great, but you can check that out another time. I'm not just talking about the investing. I'd like to move from investing into real estate. Owning real estate is one of the best ways to get yourself where you will have passive income. And I'm about to share some examples of real estate ownership that I have direct contact with. The first one was when I was a property manager, and we lived on site, and this particular site had 13 units. It was set up pretty nice. There was a swimming pool. It was just a great area. What was nice about it is that one of the units was actually a home. It was a house. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a separate garage, and the people who owned the property first lived there. They had since moved on and rent out that particular unit. But I found this is a great little spot that you could own the place, live in that part that was just a separate little house, and then collect in on all of the rental units. So my next numbers are just approximate. It's about an average, and stating if you lived at the place and you rented out 12 units, then roughly you'd be bringing $7,200 a month in, roughly, on the income. And I did rough numbers with that. That's approximately the actual amount that's being pocketed on that particular spot where we lived. My brother lived in a 4-plex. The thought here that I'm about to share is that the 4-plex, if you do live in it, if you don't live in it, is my numbers, all right? Because if you live in it, then you only get 3, but I'm going to pretend that you own the whole place. And that was approximately $1,200 a month. So you'd be looking at $4,800 a month if you have the 4-plex. We're still not $100,000 a year yet. So let's talk about rental home. Another close family member, not disclosing who, owns a rental property and brings in $1,500 a month after all is said and done. And they're at that point that they have it as rental income. Moving forward from there, to really own the park is what I say. Oh, my face is covering this up. Let me move my face a little bit. To own the park, I'm not talking about the public park like this picnic bench. I'm talking about owning the mobile home park. There are 2 real estate businesses that per square foot are making amazing amounts of money. The one is storage units, which I didn't mention here, but it could be the same, owning the storage unit. Storage units make the most per square foot of passive income. The second are the mobile home parks. Mobile home parks make a significant amount of money per square foot. You rent out a lot, and I'm just throwing rough numbers based on I know a few parks, and this is based on kind of that rough numbers there, of 27 lots. Again, it's just a random number that's kind of there that I've seen. It happens. It's just the way the park ends up going together. There's 27 spots. $400 profit a month from the renting of those spots brings in about the $10,800. We're finally at one example that could get you $100,000 a year. If you're into the real estate, remember, these things still take maintaining. Put my picture back down. Move on to the next slide. I've added these together. If you were doing all that, you had the 12 units rented out, you had a fourplex that you're renting out, you're renting out a rental home, and you are also managing a park, you'd be seeing $24,300 a month. I'd say this, I put it this way so you can see how much work that would be, how much work it would be to be collecting in all those rents. Let me jump to my last quick story of someone who has passive income for sure of $100,000 a year. This individual writes books, is an author. It is my wife's brother. He continues to write books. He writes his 3 chapters a week, and he gets his books done. He started out by writing 1 chapter a week and working full time, and had this on the side. Each book approximately is $1. I'm just kind of like guessing, and based on what I know, he's selling more than $100,000 a year, and that is Jeff Wheeler. If you are an author, if you are an artist, if you are wanting to invest, it's like, where do you want to invest now and work now, or keep working now, so that you finally get to that point where you're saying, I am bringing home $100,000 a year in passive income. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side.